This is, a lot of our different advantages that we have here with Select Advantage. Number one, we have a client website that kind of helps work for you, and this can help promote you and promote your business by being a very passive way to prospect to your clients. So this website, when you go to well, leave off the my at first, but you go to voyaadvantage.com. That's our rep website. When you visit voyaadvantage.com, it's going to ask you for your email address. You put that in there, put in your TFA email address, and it'll know that you're with TFA. You scroll down and you'll find your own custom link. When you share this link over to a client and they click on it, it will share back to you that they visited the website. And now you'll know that this person is a warm lead. You'll know that this person has shown up on your showroom floor. Those of you that have bought a car recently, that the person that's interested in buying his car is not the guy looking online. They're the guy that's standing on the showroom floor, ready to ask some questions. This is a way for you to virtually bring somebody to your showroom floor. So you can set up an appointment with Nate or myself, and we'll gladly walk you through that process. I don't want to take up a ton of time going over that, but we have a great website that you can simply share a link. It's your own custom link. It'll have your information on it. When somebody clicks on that, it will tell you who's visiting the website, and then you'll know that those people are going to be primed to contact about IRA consolidation, about a 401k rollover, whatever it may be. To help you guys also save time when you're building these portfolios, we've built model portfolios. Voya, we're huge. We have a 401k side, obviously, but we have a investment management side too that helps build out models, build out portfolios. So we worked with them to build out these model portfolios that really help provide. I like to call these our smart portfolios, because beyond just providing you with a proper allocation, they actually will move just a little bit on you and move you down one notch whenever market volatility becomes too high, whenever corporate earnings turn negative. So we have 5 different models here using 6 different funds. So you only have to memorize these 6 different funds basically and know about those whenever your client asks. But with these, we build it around 2 core funds: the T. Rowe Price Capital Appreciation Fund, which is our number 1 fund, and then Voya Global Perspectives. Voya Global Perspectives is a fund that will cut its equity position in half whenever corporate earnings turns negative. And that has proven to be very, very, very successful, particularly in this last year. So I have the performance numbers from this last year below here as well. The S&P 500, the total return index, did about 18% last year. Our growth model, which carries only a beta of 84. So for those of you familiar with modern portfolio theory, beta is your relation to the index. Okay. So a beta of 84 is 84% of the risk of the S&P 500. Yet it performed at 32%, 180% capture ratio. All right. Even our moderate conservative portfolio, which had only a beta of 44, so 44% of the risk of the S&P 500, almost performed as well as the S&P 500 with less than half of the risk. This was all accomplished because these models were all able to reduce their risk during market downturns. So that's why I call these the smart portfolios, because they're going to help reduce risk when they need to, but then move back to their appropriate allocation after that's passed. Next on our little timeline here, or whatever you want to refer to this thing as, we have an incredibly easy application process, particularly for you guys there at TFA, because you guys are all already familiar with Firelight. So the great part about us is that we are integrated into Firelight. You can use us on there. You can include all of your TFA paperwork, and you get to use, have our application there as well. Your account's set up in about 40 minutes with us. If you're moving out of a Voya 401k plan, it can even be done in the same day. So using Firelight is an amazing application process. It makes it so easy. I have 2 Select Advantage accounts myself, one Roth, one traditional. I signed up for them using Firelight, and it takes only minutes on the client side of things to go through with just using their smartphone to get everything done and get everything signed from the client side. So if you want to make for an easy client experience, they can do it all. You talk to them on the phone, you fill out the app, then you just send it over to them and they sign it, and it takes only minutes. Speaking of making things easy for clients, all of our clients are going to have access to the Voya Retire mobile app as well, where they can make trades, transactions, view their account, do all that kind of stuff that millennials like to access. Of course. So having that app has been a big selling point, and people love to use it. We have about an 85% usage of our mobile app, which is crazy considering on our old platform, where we're going to be moving stuff over from. We actually only had 70% of people that even had an online profile. So having that app is a huge draw for people. Next, we don't just want to make things fast and easy for your clients. We want to make things fast and easy for you. So we have added a lot of great servicing tools for you guys online, so that you don't have to do things on paper. You don't have to call in and do things over the phone. If you do need to call in for something, we have all service handled in the US with extended call center hours as well. So you're not just having to wait for business hours to make phone calls. If you're meeting with somebody in the evening, you can call all the way until 9 p.m. Eastern time to make those phone calls. So it makes servicing your accounts that much easier as well. When you're meeting with a client in person or over Zoom, you can even hop online and make a distribution for them and have a check sent out the next day. So, or if they have their bank account tied, you can have it sent over to them, pretty much right away. So it's a very easy product to sell, to market, to build portfolios for, to sign up for, to service, and for the clients to actually view their accounts. Kind of already covered all of that kind of stuff. Next, let's talk about the big ways that you can sell our product. These are our top 5 sales stories here. Number one, our product was born out of the retirement side of Voya as a way to retain assets. So that's still where we see most of our money coming from. So that's your job changers. Those are your people that are nearing retirement or are already retired. So if they have a 401k, a 457, a 403b, a 401a, whatever it may be, if they move over to Select Advantage, they're going to get a product that looks and feels like that 401k that they're already used to. They have different fund offerings. They have, a lot of different choices, and they're going to get that with Select Advantage. But they're going to get it even better with Select Advantage, because we're going to have a lot more funds and a lot more fund families available. Next, and this will be mainly for those of you that are more established, you probably have a lot of A shares on your books right now, maybe even some C shares left. A lot of those C shares are now converting over to A shares or F1 or R or what, depending on the fund family. But look to those old shares, look to those old clients, and offer them something with more diversification. Offer them something that's going to give them more technology, that's going to give them better returns, better fund families, more fund families. As a win-win here, it's going to give you more long-term comp as well by moving those old A shares over to Select Advantage than it will by just leaving them in A shares. And to move over to us, they're not going to pay a front-end load either. So this is a great product for you to go to your existing book, look for those old A shares. Start with the oldest ones, start with the biggest ones, whatever you want to do. Move them to Select Advantage, quadruple your trails in the first year and double it every year thereafter. So you're going to get more value out of your book of business, and you're going to enhance your client experience and give them a better fund lineup, better portfolio, and better performance along the way. Next, I know this one's always been huge inside of TFA. This is where we really kind of picked up steam with you guys, and that's the annuity and Select Advantage split ticket. I was a rep for 9 years before I came to wholesale here. I know I look so young, but I was a rep for 9 years. I've sat across the table, knee to knee with clients, and had the same conversations that you guys have had and are having. And annuities can get a lot of objections for sure. A lot of those have to do with liquidity. Obviously, our product's 100% liquid, so it helps offset those. There's also a lot of concerns people have with annuities about waiting to take that income. You have to let an annuity sit for 6, 7, 9 years before you can start taking that guaranteed income stream. When you pair that annuity with Select Advantage, you're going to show them a place that they can take money from without having to hurt that annuity. You don't want them to take money out early, because if they do, it's going to be a detriment to their long-term income. Even during that income phase, if that client needs to take excess money out for a storm that tore up their roof, for helping out their, maybe a loved one with something, if they have to access that money, you don't want them to take more money out of the annuity and hurt their long-term income. Have them take it out of their Select Advantage account. Also, down the road, you know that a lot of annuities, when you're dealing with an income plan, don't necessarily have death benefits built into them the way that annuities have in the past. So using Select Advantage alongside that annuity will help provide for a way to pass money on to their beneficiaries and allow for that to sit there and grow in a tax deferred manner, or a tax-free manner, even if it's a Roth account, to where it can pass on to their beneficiaries. So keep that in mind. Every annuity you're selling, if you pair it with a Select Advantage, is going to lead to a better client experience, to giving them that liquidity and flexibility. And it's going to really help make things a lot more compliant with those needs as well. I think you guys have a requirement of 40% for qualified money. Is it 40%, Tony, that needs to be liquid anyway when you're dealing with annuities? So instead of
Yes.
leaving that in a 401k plan, move it over
Yeah.
to Select Advantage, put 60% in that annuity, 40% in Select Advantage, and now you have a perfect solution and a great sale for your client. Does anybody here work with small business owners? I mean, I know you guys are all small business owners right now, but for those of you that do, we are a perfect solution for SEP and simple IRAs. Okay, we offer the exact same platform for those SEP and simples, except we offer it at a $0 startup. So they can do a $0 startup SEP or simple IRA, and there's no fee for the employer. And we're going to offer the same high dollar tools that we're going to offer a $1 billion 401k plan. So you can go to John's Lawn Care Service, offer them a simple IRA that's going to have the exact same online tools that Boeing gets. Okay, so you're offering big tools for a small $0 startup SEP or simple plan. So keep us in mind for that. They run the same, it's all the same platform. It's all the same low cost that you'd get with just a traditional IRA. So you don't have to learn a new product when you're dealing with SEP and simples. And we have a dedicated service team just for those SEP and simple employers with how to run the online system. We have great marketing pieces around that as well. I could go on for an hour just about our SEP and simple plans, but we have great tools available there and dedicated teams just to help out the employers around that side of things. And last, but certainly not least, I label it on here as a great way to segment your business. That really only applies if you're already an advisory rep that's writing a lot of advisory for maybe your top tier clients. Using Select Advantage because it looks and feels like an advisory product is a great way to help provide for a segmenting solution. But for those of you that are not advisory licensed, our product is only a 6 and 63 product. You only need a 6 and 63 license to sell it, but it looks and feels like advisory. And when you compete against Ed Jones down the road, Ameriprise, Charles Schwab, you guys can probably name off a dozen other ones that you run into every day. We're going to be able to come in at a lower cost. As I mentioned, if you use one of our model portfolios, you're going to be between 1.5 and 1.7 for an all-in cost. You can be even lower than that if you want to pick and choose some of our lower cost funds. But when you're running into Ed Jones, they're going to be at 2.5%, 3% for their all-in cost. Okay, so you can come in lower cost and compete directly against these advisory accounts and offer them something that looks and feels just like those advisory accounts. And oftentimes we're going to have better technology with our mobile app than they have right now as well. So keep us in mind when you run into those sideways statements, because those are the brokerage accounts, those are the advisory accounts. Look for those and know that you can offer them something that's going to be a better way to diversify with more technology, lower cost for them, and you're going to be able to win over those clients. You also have access to Morningstar tools where you can do direct comparisons from their current account over to our account. You can input the fees they're paying there, and it'll just spit it out and show you, how we win versus their current account. So keep that in mind. That's the last thing for me here. Here's my contact info and Nate's contact info. Screenshot it, write it down. Please give me a call or shoot me a text. We can set up a time to have a one-on-one conversation. We can do another Zoom meeting. I'll show you my screen and we can go through, show you how to use our prospecting website to take advantage. Anybody have any questions for me at all?
Any
All right.
questions?
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
I was gonna say, anyone have any questions? Otherwise, I might fire off a couple here.
One thing I forgot to mention that people have been having some success with lately, I kind of stumbled on this. I think I had heard about it a few years ago and kind of forgot about it. And then I was looking through some stuff and I was talking to somebody about it, and I was on a Zoom call with them, and we were looking through. And you guys all use LinkedIn, right? I'd imagine everybody here has a LinkedIn profile. Go to LinkedIn, go to your notifications under, I think it's either advanced or it's settings, one of those two. You can actually go into your LinkedIn and change your settings and only see people that have changed jobs recently. If you want to get a list of people to call that you already know, go to LinkedIn, look at people that have changed jobs recently, shoot them a quick message, send them this link, your custom URL, and say, and you don't even have to preface it with anything. Send them a link and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. Saw that you had changed jobs, say something like that, or just send it out to a lot of different people and shoot it over to them. They'll take a look at it. If they click on it, they visit the website, you're going to get notified that they're doing so. But contact those people. It's a great way. You already know that they have a rollover available because they just changed jobs. So there's business available. Give them a quick call, shoot them that email. It's an easy way to find some prospects.
Cool. That's awesome. That's a great tip there, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, a quick question. Since you're familiar with TFA and you know that we have an advisory part to our business, where do you see the success of those advisors that use the Voya, your product versus an advisory? I know how I kind of place the Voya product. I just kind of like to see what you see from a bigger scale.
So I think for me, it comes down to the rep and the client experience. How engaged are you going to be with your client? If you're going to be calling them and talking to them monthly or quarterly, that's somebody that should probably be in advisory. Okay. If there's somebody that you can be more hands off with and you're going to meet with or talk with once a year, you're pretty much going to be meeting with every client once a year. But if you're an advisory rep and you're spending, some time every single month on a client, that client should probably be in advisory. But like I said, if they're more hands off, by all means, Select Advantage is going to be a better fit because it's going to save you a lot more time to work with Select Advantage than it is with advisory. There's going to be a lot less paperwork. There's going to be a lot less hassle. There's going to be less fiduciary responsibility. There's going to be, less risk associated with it. So Select Advantage is going to be a better fit for those clients. If you don't have an advisory license, Select Advantage can be your solution for those more hands-on clients, for those clients that want a better experience, or for those that want to have more than just that A share upfront load single fund family experience.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Um, you hear a lot of talk about people with ETFs, and they're saying that mutual funds are a thing of the past. How do you combat that? How do you?
Right here is how I combat that, because the S&P 500, most ETFs are going to be modeled after some sort of an index, right? That's they generally are going to be an index type fund. You're going to get some that are otherwise more targeted towards particular sectors, and those certainly have their place. We have a lot of sector funds on Select Advantage as well, but most ETFs are going to be designed around indexes as a way to be very, very low cost. The ETFs that are still focused on a certain sector are going to be more expensive ones. But when most people think of ETFs, or think of even just Vanguard mutual funds, the reason they're so low cost is because there's no thought that goes into the process. There's no thought that goes into the funds or to the investments. They literally are mirroring the S&P 500, which is a value weighted index. So they're literally just copying whatever's in the S&P 500 and trading it exactly as the S&P 500 would have to trade if it was a real thing. And when you deal with that, you're dealing with passive management. So that by mirroring that, there's no, like I said, no thought. That's why I call these our smart portfolios, because each one of these is going to be actively trading. Okay, so not only does the Voya Global Perspectives Fund cut its equity position in half when corporate earnings turns negative, and then that reduces your risk in each portfolio. But individually, Calvert Bond Fund is picking the best bonds out there based on current market conditions. Same with American Funds Bond Fund America. T. Rowe Price Cap App can move between 30 and 70, or excuse me, between 40 and 60% equities. So it can move itself around based on conditions. It's an actively managed fund. T. Rowe Price Cap App is our most popular fund. It's one of the most popular funds in the industry. It's so large, in fact, that they had to shut it down to individual users. So you can only even access this fund through institutions like Voya and through Voya Select Advantage. Franklin Dynatech Fund. It's a large cap fund that primarily focuses on tech, but it of course is a fund that is very much so focused on the best of the growth funds in the tech sector. Federated Kaufman, their small cap, their mid cap fund. We actually on March 1st just replaced Federated Kaufman I can't even talk today. Federated Kaufman small cap with the Federated Kaufman mid cap fund, because the Federated Kaufman small cap fund did a soft close, which means that when they first set out to build that fund, I think it was 15 years ago, they had a certain market capitalization in mind. Once they hit that, they shut down. It was built in their prospectus. So they're no longer accepting new funds. If you have them on your portfolio already, you'll continue to be able to invest in there and add money, but they're just not accepting new money. So that one actually has been replaced with their mid cap fund, which has a um, very similar objective. They just target small cap, mid cap, and large cap, whereas the small cap fund only targeted mid cap and small cap, so was considered a small cap fund. But Federated Kaufman will kind of cover a broader range using the same investment style as the small cap fund. So that's how I basically will offset that with ETFs. If somebody is only focused on cost, sometimes it's really tough to win those conversations. And I'm trying to think of exactly what the saying was from Warren Buffett. Um, if somebody thinks of it, jump in here. But it basically comes down to cost is only relevant in the absence of value. Okay, so if you're paying a lot of money for a fund and it's providing you with nothing, you're overpaying for it. And that's where ETFs might be valuable. But when you're paying money for something that's providing you with outperformance like this, where you're getting over, 100, you're getting 180% of the return of the S&P 500 with only 84% of the risk of the S&P 500, that's value. That's cost providing you value. And that's the conversation that you can have with those types of clients.
Cool. Last one. I know we got a minute, and if anyone has anything, feel free to jump in. Since today we talked a lot about the millennials and the technology, are there videos that show like how to use that app, or just highlighting it? Obviously that's kind of a turn on for a good marketing tool as well as we're targeting the millennials. Is there like a video or something like that we can see?
Sure. We have videos, we have demos, we have walkthroughs. We even have like videos and how-to guides for SEP and simples. So if you go to voyaadvantage.com, obviously it's going to load slow since we're on a Zoom right now. But if you go to voyaadvantage.com, like I said, the first thing that's going to pop up for you here is it's going to ask you for your email, just so we know who you are. This is also how it's going to build. I'll just pick a TFA person that I had on here recently. So it's going to give you your custom URL. So this here is your link that you can share. So I was telling you about that. Feel free to personalize this. It'll add your information to the bottom of the web page, and then you can share that link. But from here under advisor tools, under marketing materials and forums, you can come here and view a lot of this different stuff. But we will have on here some client materials around the mobile app and our online tools, so they can go right to this. You can email this over to them. This actually gets sent out to them when they sign up with us, but it shows them what they have access to and that sort of stuff. And I thought it had a link to to actually do the demo, but that I believe is under a different one here. But yes, we have
Okay.
We have demos where people can walk through the
Okay, there it is.
mobile app, and you can see what kind of functionality it has and everything.
Cool.
But so you can just share this link. It's available right through there as well. So
Gotcha. Awesome. Great. Anyone else have any questions?
Hey, Tony, it's Michael. How you guys doing?
Hey, Michael.
and Michael,
So you mentioned the LinkedIn search, and then
Yes.
also sending them out a link. And I may have missed it. Where's that link at, by chance?
Sure.
Can you put it
So,
in the chat?
yeah, so voyaadvantage.com.
Okay.
So make sure you
All
got
right.
2 ways in the middle there. www.voyaadvantage.com.
Got it. Thank you.
So you visit that website. Again, first thing it's going to ask for is your email address. Make sure you put in your TFA approved TFA Connect email address. Make sure you're
Got
using
it.
that one.
Okay.
When you go there, it'll give you that link. You guys can personalize it. You make sure you add your disclosure in, because once you do that, it will automatically add it. Which obviously with Min, he hasn't added his in yet. But add in your disclosure. To find your disclosure, just go to the bottom of one of your emails. Take it right from there.
Thank you.
Put that in there, and you can share it from there. This, I'll show you what that looks like too, since we're talking about it. I know we're at 1 o'clock right now.
You're good. Yeah, go ahead and wrap up with this. That'd be great.
Perfect. So this is what the client's going to see. It's going to ask them first name, last name, city, and state. We will email you that information every Monday with who visited your link from that previous week. And then just to call those people up because they're standing on the showroom floor.